Good morning. How are you? Hope you're well. Today is Friday. It's Friday's live Pilates. Thank you for joining me. A couple of people joined up already. That's brilliant. Right, just a quick bit of spiel, about what you should and shouldn't be doing in terms of health and safety. So, if you, when you're doing these exercises, please work at the level that works for you. Often with the exercises, I'll offer a couple of different versions. So make sure that you're working at the level that you are capable of doing in good form, because that's more important than doing it in bad form and maybe potentially hurting yourself. So that's your responsibility to make sure that you get the best out of this exercise thing, because at the end of the day, we just want to maintain our flexibility, mobility and strength, and a little bit of sanity as well, ideally. So don't push yourself too much. Now's not the time to be pushing yourself. But well done for joining me in the first place. That's the best thing. So if you feel sick, dizzy or unwell or any pain at any time, listen to your body. Stop what you're doing. Either wait until another exercise comes along that you can do, or just take some time out. So I'll let you be the boss of yourself for that. So let's get started. That's what you're here for, to do a little bit of Pilates, not listen to me waffling on, which I tend to do. There you go. No one else to talk to apart from a 15-year-old and 2 cats. So, here we go. Let's start with feet together. We're going to keep them together. We're going to think about zipping up through those inner thighs. We're going to draw up the pelvic floor. We're going to pull in through the tummy button so we're nice and strong. Now, if you've never done Pilates before, a lot of these things I'm going to be saying might not mean anything to you. Go and check out my beginners videos. I've got 4 of them, 4 sort of hour-long sessions nearly, I think. Just work your way through them, come back. You'll find it so much more beneficial doing it that way. So zipping up through those thighs, nice pull up and pull in so we're nice and strong through the center there. Then we're going to open up those feet, those toes, so we're like a ballerina. And then we're going to open up the heels so that our feet are parallel. Have a look down, make sure they are parallel. We want the knees facing forward as well. So we often find we've got a little bit of a turnout because we spend a lot of time standing like that. So with Pilates, we're trying to work on our posture and our alignment. So feet, toes facing forward, knees facing forward, lined up with your hips. So let's start with the foundations. So let's roll onto the balls of the feet and back onto your heels. Very gently. We're just shifting the weight forwards and backwards, staying controlled. Start taking nice deep breaths in through the nose and then exhaling through the mouth. You can make a bit of noise when you're doing that. Sometimes it helps you focus. So breathing in, breathing out. No one can hear you. It's fine. We're going to take the weight over onto one side and back onto the other side. And again, we're just shifting that weight, but we're staying nice and strong through the center. Bring our weight over the middle now so that we are evenly weighted on both feet. Press down the big toe, the little toe, and the heel. So you should get a little lift through the arches. We're going to do some pelvic tilts. So I'll turn sideways for this. You won't see much, but we tuck the bottom under. And then you let your tailbone go out behind you. So we're just mobilizing that lower back, that lumbar spine. Upper body stays nice and still, so we're not moving forwards, we're not poking the bottom out, none of this malarkey. It's just that lower back and the pelvis. Then we want to find that point in the middle. That should mean that we have a neutral spine. So grow nice and tall now out of the crown of the head. So really float that head up towards the ceiling. But I want you to think about it being, you're increasing the gap between your ears and your shoulders. So keep that chin parallel to the floor. A little bit of a chin tuck so that we get a double chin, but we feel that length down the back of the neck. And we're going to draw those shoulders up towards your ears, press them behind, and then gently draw them down as if you're trying to slide your shoulder blades into your back pockets. Nice pull up through the pelvic floor. We're going to practice our Pilates breathing. Ribs stay soft. It's a breath in And as you exhale, pull that belly button in towards the spine. You're going to feel your abdomen tightening up. That is your powerhouse. So keep that control there while we breathe into the side of the rib cage. So aim the breath here, deep into the side of the ribs and the back of the rib cage. And then as you exhale, pulling in through the tummy so we find that connection again. So let's practice our Pilates breathing. Close your eyes if you like. Gives you that better, it might enable you to connect better with the body. So feel what's going on. Keep the shoulders down and relaxed. With Pilates, we try to only use as much effort as we need to. So with the engagement with the core, think of it like a dimmer switch. So as much as you need to maintain stability. And in some exercises, that's going to be more than others. So standing here, as you exhale, you find that connection. Last breath. We're going to mobilize the body next. So, standing tall, breath in. Exhale, we look over one shoulder. Inhale back to the center. So think about the movement here. We're exhaling as we come away from the center to inhale to come back to center. So that's a lot of the breathing pattern in Pilates. Exhale, exertion. If you find you're inhaling when you should be exhaling, don't worry too much about that, as long as you don't hold your breath. Let's change it to an ear to shoulder. And back to the center. We'll move on to shoulders next. So just rolling the shoulders, or you can pop your fingertips onto your shoulder tips and do some elbow circles. So think about the rib cage as we're doing this movement, the rib cage and the spine, that we're going to keep them nice and relaxed and soft and neutral. So we're not arching and doing big waving movements with the spine. We're keeping it nice and stable using the core. Let's change direction. And the last one. We can bring those hands down by your side. Keep those hips fixed now, facing the front. It's a breath in. And you're just going to turn to look behind you. So we're rotating through the spine. We're pulling through the tummy again as we're coming away from the center. And you can feel those muscles down the side of the waist, your oblique muscles, drawing you round. So we're engaging through those and mobilizing the spine. Last one. Now we're just going to free that movement up. So spiral yourself from your toes to the top of your head. Let those arms swing out. Get the blood flowing a little bit. Then we're going to come back to the center. Line your feet, knees and hips up again. It's a breath in, we're pulling through the tummy. We're going to do a side bend. But think about inhaling, coming back to the center. Exhale. And we're lengthening. So I want you to think about, I don't know, it helps me to imagine that I'm like a rocket coming up out of the hips. Lengthening up towards the ceiling. Let's add in the arm. So it's more about a sideways bend. So we're opening up the side of the spine, but we're not just crunching down on the other side. We're still lengthening that spine. And still exhaling. We're going to take a nice breath in from the middle here, lifting one arm up. And a breath in, rise the other arm up. So from here, good pull in through the tummy. We're just going to bend over to the side, just as far as feels comfortable for you. And you're reaching up to that corner of the room. Reaching up, reaching up, reaching up. And then we're going to drop this arm. When I say this arm, it's the arm that's, I don't know, just have a look at the screen, your left or right. Turn the palm to face away from you and then lift that arm up. Keep pulling in through the tummy And then imagine that you've got a big ball between your hands now. And when you think, oh yeah, you've got that ball, we're going to draw ourselves back up to the center. And then we're going to go over to the other side. Good, pull in through the tummy. Lengthen to the corner of the room. And then we're going to drop this arm. Turn the palm to face away from you. And again, just slowly squeezing that arm up. Good, pull in through the tummy. When you think you've got hold of that big beach ball overhead, we're going to draw yourself back up. Now imagine that you're grabbing a couple of ropes from the ceiling, and we gently, gently, gently pull down against resistance. Draw those ropes down. Hands down by your side. Perfect. Now we are going to mobilize through the hip joint. So think about this as your Pilates box. That's the shape made from your shoulders to your hips. That lovely oblong shape. So we're going to keep that nice and stable. So that means no kind of shifting or twisting or any of that malarkey. Nice pull in through the tummy. And we do some circles on the floor. So just make sure that you've got space around you. So keep your Pilates box nice and stable as we do those circles. You can do them with a bent leg or a straight leg. Entirely up to you. Fast or slow. Big or little. Good, pull in through the tummy, drawing up that pelvic floor so we're nice and stable through the core. And then let's change direction. So again, think about that dimmer switch. You might want to switch on the core a little bit deeper as you bring that leg out to the side to keep the hips nice and stable. Let's do one more. And then we leave that foot out behind. Gently tip forward so you've got a straight diagonal line through the shoulders, hips, and out through that leg. Keep that leg nice and straight, hips nice and square. Squeeze through the bottom as you lift and tap. Or you can keep that leg hovered and then pulse it behind you. Think about your neck. It wants to be just an extension of your spine. So don't look forwards because that's going to put a bend in it. Nice pull in through the tummy. Keep the upper body stable. We're just having a squeeze through the bottom to lift that leg, that lovely straight leg behind you. Now, bring that knee to the front. Rotate at the ankle. And change direction. And then lower. Brilliant. We'll do the same on the other side. So again, nice pull up and pull in. We think about keeping the Pilates box nice and stable. Using the breath, keep this knee, the supporting leg, a little bit soft. We don't want that locked out. Puts too much pressure on it. So just gently softened. Especially if you have hypermobility. Let's change direction. You might find that your balance is a little bit skew-whiff on this. That's fine. You could use a chair, back of a chair to support you, or a piano if you've got one in your room, or a wall. Last one, we're going to leave that foot out behind you. Gently tip forwards. We've got that straight diagonal line, and we lift and tap, or keep that leg hovered and pulse it. Good, pull in through the tummy, and think about the alignment of your neck with your spine. Stay open through the collarbones, so we're drawing the shoulders back and down. Lengthen that leg away from you. Try to press the back of the knee away. And then we bring that knee to the front. We rotate at the ankle one way. And back around the other way. And then gently lower down. Perfect. We're going to do a balance next. So make sure you've got the room around you. I think we'll do a star balance. So feet lined up. Keep those hips level, and we draw up one knee. Find your center. So draw up that pelvic floor, pull in through the tummy, lengthen through the spine. Oops. Keep the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. So really imagine that thread is pulling you up, and you can feel, your ears stretching away from your shoulders. So we're nice and long. Perfect. Lower that foot onto your shin, or you can have your toe on the floor, and then we open up through the hip, and we'll take a few breaths here. Still feeling nice and tall. Still lengthening through the crown of the head. And it's a breath in. And we lift those arms up towards the ceiling. Keep the shoulder blades down while we lengthen through the waist. And from here, we're going to go a Y shape with the arms and then straighten out that bent leg. So we can just stand here, if you like, lengthening those limbs away, or we can start to tip. So as we lower through the torso, we're going to lift through the leg. And we're still pulling in through the tummy and through the pelvic floor, a little bit wobbly maybe. Thinking about having a pane of glass in front of you and a pane of glass behind you, so don't twist or lean forwards or bring those arms forwards. And then gracefully return to the floor. So we'll do the same on the other side. So drawing up that knee, the other knee. We'll just let that leg stay there while we pull in through the tummy. Again, we're aiming to get the shoulders down away from the ears, lengthen through the neck. Strong center. Lowering that foot onto your shin, open up through the hip. And we'll take a few breaths here. Every time you exhale, I want you to find that engagement through the center. And then you hold that as you inhale. Exhale, just strengthen that connection. And it's a breath in. Keep the shoulders down away from your ears as you lift the arms up towards the ceiling and we lengthen through the waist. Open the arms up to a Y, and then we straighten up that bent leg. And again, we might just stay here, pulling in through the tummy, or we might start to tip over. Nice and controlled. Again, think about the leg and the torso staying lined up as you tip over. Don't come forwards. Don't let the arms creep forwards. Keep nice and open. And then come back down onto the floor. Perfect. We're going to do some roll downs now to get onto the mat. Mobilize through the spine. I'm just going to change the angle of this a little bit. Perfect. So before we get down onto the mat, I want you just to make sure you've got all the right pieces of equipment to hand. We're going to use a small towel. We're going to use a belt, dressing gown belt. See me moving that, displaying that with my foot there. And we've also got the option to use some food cans or hand weights. If you happen to have hand weights, use hand weights. You might want to use logs for the fire. I don't know. You find something that's going to work for you, or you can do it without any weights at all. It's entirely up to you. So let's start standing at the end of the mat in our Pilates posture. So how we've just set the body up. Nice pull in through the tummy. Breath in, and then as you exhale, we're going to start to round down through the vertebrae. Walk those hands down the legs, or let the arms hang nice and heavy. And I want you to visualize each vertebrae moving independently as you roll down through the spine. So nice and slow. And then just come down as far as feels comfortable. So those knees want to be soft, not bent, but just not locked out. So just gently release them from that locked out position. Breath or two at the bottom here. And then we're going to start to restack. Now tuck that bottom under, don't poke it out. Try to use the spine to build back up nice and tall at the end. We're going to do another 2. So in your own time, but nice and slowly. Actually, not in your own time. Otherwise, we might not synchronize. Anyway,
Nice and slowly rolling down through the vertebrae. Couple of breaths at the bottom. Really sink into that stretch up the back of the legs. Relax through the shoulders and the head. Then we're going to start to restack. So we are pulling in through the tummy, drawing up that pelvic floor, restacking the spine, one vertebrae at a time. Draw those shoulders back up and down when you're at the top. Last roll down now. Breathing, just maintain nice, deep, regular breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Every time you exhale, I want you to think about relaxing through those shoulders. And when you're at the bottom of this last one, we're just going to stay here for a breath or two and let those arms really hang heavy so you can feel that gravity is drawing that shoulder socket open. And then you can maybe move those shoulders around, those arms rather, so that you get the movement through the shoulder. Keep the upper body still and stable. So you could do circles. You could do side to side or forwards to backwards. Just enjoy that feeling of openness. And nod the head as if you're saying yes. Shake the head as if you're saying no. And we're going to come down onto the mat into a 4-point kneeling position. So that means hands underneath, wrists underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips, and let your feet relax. And we're looking to press that mat away. So we've got options with the hands, because if you've got a dodgy wrist, like I happen to have at the moment, you might find it difficult. So you can have one option is to roll that mat up so that your heels of your hands are higher than the fingers. That might be one option. You could use the towel for that, possibly. Just lifting those heels of the hands up a little bit higher. Sort of increases the angle there at the wrist. Or you can come onto your knuckles. Keep those wrists straight. I'm going to go knuckles today. So make sure that you're not sinking into your shoulders. So just press away out of those shoulders, but equally we're not arching. So think about having a tray of drinks on your back, neutral spine. Nice pull in through the tummy, so you're really drawing that belly button away. It's harder in this position because you're doing it against gravity. So breath in, and as you exhale, extend one leg out behind you, toe touching the floor, and then we're going to draw it back in. And now exhale, we change to the other side. So try to keep the pelvis nice and stable and the spine neutral. Think about the length of your neck, at the back of your neck. So don't look ahead. We're not lifting through the head. Keep looking down at the mat. Alternate one side to the other. And we can add in a little lift. So extend that leg along the floor and then lift up. Try not to twist through the hips as you do that. So we're staying nice and stable. If you lift too high, you might find that you're twisting. We don't want that. We're trying to keep nice and stable through the pelvis. Oh, this is hard work on my wrist today. I'm going to try it this way. I'm painting my fence. I think that's set off something in my wrist. Painting's dangerous. Don't do it. So, carrying on. We're lifting the leg. Now you can stay here, or we can add in another option, and that option is going to be the opposite arm. It's also going to extend along the floor, keeping contact, and then we lift. And then you could maybe stay here for a breath or two, lengthening those limbs, lengthening through the crown of the head, and then we lower. Same on the other side. Extend away, then lift. Keeping the shoulder girdle nice and neutral, the hips nice and neutral, lower and back. Inhale, exhale. Lift, lengthen, lower, slide back in. Think about that tray of drinks on your back. Don't let them slide around on the tray. Last couple, we can add in one more option as we extend and we lift. Let's go out to the side just a little bit, but keep the Pilates box nice and stable. This might not be an option for you, that's fine. You might just be doing your leg along the floor. We'll do one more on each side. Remember to exhale as you come away from the center, as you exert yourself. Helps you pull in through the tummy, stay nice and strong through the center, firing up the core. I'm a little bit all over the shop with this actually, and I'm blaming it on my wrist. And lower. Well done. We can let that mat roll out. Shall we have a little release in child's pose? Why not? So just lowering down onto the floor, sitting back onto your heels. Let your shoulders fall forward, let everything relax. Nice couple of breaths here. This is called child's pose. Have your arms by your side. So everything should be in a position of relaxation. A state of relaxation rather. But we can't stay there for long, because we've got the rest of the class to do. So coming onto your back, we're going to do some upper body ouch curl up. And we've got the option to have some weights here, hand weights. See how I go with that. Make sure you've got a bit of space. Let's have feet flat on the floor, knees are bent. We're going to do a roll down onto the mat. So tuck that bottom under, keep the shoulders back and down. Big C shape with the spine as you roll down. Let's set the body up for a second. So feet flat on the floor, hip distance apart, knees are bent. We're going to make a diamond shape with the hands and place the thumbs underneath your belly button, and the rest of your hands are going to float over your belly. So imagine that you've got a diamond. No, imagine that you've got a marble in the middle of that diamond, and you're going to roll that marble down towards your belly button. And then you're going to roll that marble down towards your fingertips. So you roll the marble towards your thumbs, and you roll the marble towards your fingertips. So we're mobilizing that lower back. It's essentially the same movement that we did right at the beginning when we found our neutral spine. So we take it to those two extremes of range of movement, and then we look to find that middle point. So the marble will be just sitting in the middle of the diamond. When you check under your lower back, you've got enough of a gap that you can just slide a flat hand in. Any more than that, and maybe you want to rearrange yourself. Any less than that, and again, just try to get that neutral spine, that natural curve. So draw those shoulders back away from your ears, little tuck of the chin. We're going to do an upper body curl up, so with or without weights. First of all, we're going to pull up the pelvic floor, scoop that belly down towards the mat. So we're really strong in the center. And it's a breath in, exhale, bring those arms up and over. Keep the shoulder blades, the back of the shoulders planted on the mat as you lift those arms up and over. So just come as far as you can. You may or may not be able to reach the floor with those hands. The rib cage wants to stay soft, so you're going to have to use your core to stop your back from arching, to soften those ribs. Perfect. Then we bring the arms up towards the ceiling. And as the arms continue to go down towards your knees, you're going to lift the back of your head, lift the back of the shoulders, and then reach down towards your heels as you lift up onto the tips of your shoulder blades. And you're looking underneath your knees. You're trying to lead with your forehead, trying to bring your forehead further forward than your chin. And then we lower. The arms are going to come up and over. Keep the ribs soft as you bring the arms overhead. Inhale, exhale. Arms come up and over. We lift the back of the head. Keep lengthening through the neck as we come up to reach down towards your heels. Pulling in through the tummy, and then you lay your spine back down one vertebrae at a time. Exhale, pull that belly button in towards your spine, lift the back of the head, curling up that upper body. Lovely. So nice and slow with the movement. Think about the shoulder. The movement through the shoulder should not be affecting the alignment of your spine and your rib cage. So as you bring those arms overhead, be aware of your rib cage staying neutral. Let's do last couple now. Nice and slowly so that you're focusing on the quality of that movement, pulling in through the tummy. You're squeezing your bottom rib down towards your hip as you come up into that curl up. Tuck the chin, lead with the forehead, rise up onto the tips of your shoulder blades, squeeze those ribs down towards your hips. We've just got one more. And squeeze. Shall we do some pulses? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whoa. Felt that one. Arms overhead. And then let's just bring them down to your side. Oh, lovely. We're going to do the 100 next. So with the 100, we have the option of having that upper body curl up, head and shoulders lifted, in any of the options. So you might have one leg in tabletop and have your head and shoulders lifted, but the focus of the upper body curl up is to be lifted enough. So by that, I mean we've got the forehead leaning forwards, we're looking forwards, we're not letting the chin float up to the ceiling. If you find that you haven't got the strength to look forwards and that you're gradually sliding down, you're better off going fully down on the mat. So I want to see either proper positioning or down on the mat, no halfway house, because otherwise you'll just strain your neck and it won't be very pleasant. So that's a little pep talk there about the upper body curl up. So with the 100 different elements, I'm just going to take you through each element. So the first element is that we have arm beats. We're going to do 5 beats. Imagine you've got a couple of beach balls beside you. So we're trying to get the blood flow. So don't do little tiny things here. Do, reasonable sized arm beats. 5 beats while you breathe in through the nose. Then you turn the palms to face the ceiling and you do 5 beats while you exhale through the mouth. So inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. Okay, so with the legs, we've got, while we're doing those arm beats, we've got a leg option 1 is to have one leg in tabletop while you're doing those arm beats. Good, pull in through the tummy to keep you stable. Halfway through, I let you know you will change your leg over. We haven't started, by the way. Option 2 is to have 2 legs in tabletop, neutral spine, arm beats, upper body lift if you want, for the whole of the 100 arm beats. Option 2.5 is to have one leg extended. Now lengthen that leg away. Don't have it half bent. Is it tabletop? Is it straight leg? Be definite. Straight leg. Halfway through, you will change over to the other leg. And again, you've got the option of having your upper body lifted. And then option 3 is to have both legs extended. Nice long legs. Lower them as far as you're able to. And you've got the option to have the upper body lifted. So you've had a nice rest while I've just gone through that. Let's get ready. So pull up the pelvic floor, scoop that belly button down, lift the upper body if you want. Think about what you're doing with your legs. I'm going to do one leg extended, one bent. I'll start with my head and shoulders lifted. So nice breath in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, halfway, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, long legs, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, last one, 4, 5, breathe out, done. Oh, well done. Hold those knees in. Have a little roll from side to side. Let the head roll from side to side as well. That should have got the blood flowing a little bit as well. Lots to remember with the 100. The more you do it, the easier it will become, the clearer it will become. Right, we're going to do a shoulder bridge now. So we will do a shoulder bridge for the legs first. So make sure you've got enough room that you can bring your leg up, if that's an option that we're going to use. So arms are just going to stay rested by your side. We bring the feet closer to the bottom for a shoulder bridge, and we make sure there's nothing under the back of the head. So draw those shoulders down away from your ears. Nice pull in through the tummy. First of all, we're just going to take a moment to really relax that upper body. It's very easy to feel tense through the shoulders and tense through the back of the head and neck and shoulders, the back of the ribs. So I want you to really feel like you are melting into the mat. So take a breath in, and as you exhale, melt those shoulders. Let those hands just lengthen and rest gently by your side. Tuck the chin. Don't let the chin go up towards the ceiling. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth, and let those shoulders relax. Just widen the shoulders if you can. Right, now we're ready to go into our shoulder bridge. So good, pull up through the pelvic floor and draw that belly button down towards the spine. Stay relaxed through the shoulders. And we're going to start by peeling that spine up, away from the mat. Press the heels down, squeeze through the bottom. Keep the ribs soft. The more you squeeze through the bottom, the better alignment you're going to have through your shoulder bridge. So you should feel a gentle stretching across maybe the front of the hips. So this is our shoulder bridge. Option 1 is just simply to go up and down, mobilizing through the spine in your shoulder bridge. So if you've got a bit of a sore back, this is really good for just stretching out that lower back. Simply coming up and out of your shoulder bridge. Option 2 is going to be heel lifts. So we make sure we don't bend in the middle as we do those heel lifts. Just one foot at a time. Or you can do both feet together. Why not? Thinking about staying stable and lifted through the hips. So as we lift through the heels, we don't sink in our shoulder bridge. Keep squeezing here. Lift those heels. Perfect. Option, what are we on? Option 3 maybe? The next option, take a breath in, pull in through the tummy. As you exhale, just straighten up that leg, lengthen it away. Press through the heel, point the foot. Press through the heel, point the foot. How many times do you want to do it? Let's do 3, and then bend at the knee. So we're staying lifted through the hips as we point and flex, but the knees are level. So we're focusing on that alignment. So we're simply straightening up the knee, point and flex, keep lifted, pressing down through that heel, really squeezing through that supporting glute, bottom cheek, and bend the knee,
Inhale, exhale, lengthen. Firing up that core, pointing and flexing. Bend the knee. Should we do one more? Point and flex. Pressing down through that supporting heel, squeezing through the bottom. Keep those hips level. Bend the knee. Last one. Inhale, exhale. Lengthen that foot away. Point and flex. And now we're just going to gently return the spine down onto the floor, one vertebrae at a time. I'm curling through the lower, the tailbone at the end. So, quick pull in of those knees, maybe just to release through that lower back, both knees together. Give you a nice stretch. And then we're going to shuffle down your mat if you need to, so that we've got the room overhead this time. And so that we can do arm circles, just make sure that you've got enough room to make those arms swooping down. You can use the hand weights if you want to on this. So coming into our shoulder bridge again, feet closer to the bottom. Think about your heels being underneath your knees. Breath in, good core control as we come up into our shoulder bridge. Watch those knees. Often the knees will just lazily fall out to the side. Keep them pointing away from you. Squeeze that bottom, ribs soft, arms here by your side. Open up through the shoulders, tuck the chin. When you're ready, we're going to bring those arms up towards the ceiling. So feel the back of the shoulders nice and wide and melted into the mat. So really melt them in. Let gravity sort of spread them out, spread those shoulder blades out. So you're going to be gently lifting up towards the ceiling. So peeling the back of those shoulders away from the mat and then lowering. So we don't just clonk them down. We nice and fluidly sort of move up, lift up towards the ceiling, and then fluidly we press the back of the shoulders into the mat again. Still pressing down through those heels and squeezing through the bottom. So we're really active in our shoulder bridge. And we're just mobilizing through the shoulder girdle there a little bit. Letting the shoulder blades open up, and then we press the back of the shoulders into the mat. Let's do one more. And then press the back of the shoulders into the mat. We're going to move on to marching arms now, just for a little bit, just for 30 seconds or so. March those arms, one overhead, one going the opposite way. And you should feel nice and mobile through those shoulders after we've done that protraction and retraction. Keep the shoulders planted on the mat. Keep pressing down through the heels. Squeeze through the bottom so we're not lazy in our shoulder bridge. Stay nice and active. Now both arms are going to come up towards the ceiling and we're going to do some arm circles. So both go overhead and then we try to drag those knuckles on the floor depending on your range of movement. So as wide a range of movement through those shoulders as you can, but be aware of those shoulder blades. Don't let them, you're still drawing them down the back. So it's quite an active movement. Really working on scapular stability. So we don't just let the arms, the shoulder girdle willy-nilly come up to your ears. You're drawing it down. Let's change the direction of those circles. Watch those knees, make sure they're not falling out to the side. So lots to think about, keeping good form. Press down through those heels, squeeze that bottom. Lengthen those knees away from you. Last couple of circles now.
Anytime you need a break, you're free to come out of your shoulder bridge, have a breath or two. Let's come back. Let's roll down through the spine now. And then the arms are going to come overhead, down by your side. Shoulders down away from your ears. Lovely. Well done. Hug those knees in again. Roll from side to side. How are we doing for time? Oh, crikey. I better get a wiggle on. Blimey. Right, okay. We're going to do supine spine twist with a leg drop. So this is really going to work those abdominals and the waist as well. So hands down by your side, feet flat on the floor. Draw those shoulders down. No, arms are wide actually. Change my mind. Have those arms wide at 90 degrees, a little bit lower than 90 degrees. Make sure they're not up here because that's harder on your shoulders. So just bring them down. Nice and relaxed through the shoulders. It's a breath in. As you exhale, we pull in through the core and we lift one leg to tabletop. Breath in, exhale. Turn up that dimmer switch on the core because we're going to bring both legs into tabletop. So we've got two options here. You can either do this with your legs in tabletop. Make sure those knees don't come in towards your chest. They want to be above your hips. And the other option is just to drop the heels down towards your bottom. And if you've got a really, really bad back, then yes, you can bring your knees in a little bit. But ideally, we want knees over your hips. Should be challenging to your core. So it's knees together now, knees and feet together. Breath in. As you exhale, think of your knees as the hands on a clock, and you're going to bring them over to 10 o'clock. Lifting your right hip. Breath in here. Exhale. Press your lower back into the mat as you come up to 12 o'clock. Now watch those knees. It's a breath in. As you exhale, one leg goes out long and low, as low as you're able to go, and still maintain a neutral spine. Inhale, exhale, the other leg goes out long and low, and back to neutral. Inhale, exhale, knees come over to 2 o'clock, and your left hip is going to lift, but your shoulders are anchored onto the mat. Keep the knees together. Breath in, exhale. Up to the middle, pressing that lower back in. Then it's an inhale, exhale, one leg goes out long and low. Inhale to return, exhale. The other leg goes out long and low. Inhale to return. Keep that spine in neutral. And we're going to exhale to go over to 10 o'clock. Inhale, exhale, coming back up to 12 o'clock with those knees. Inhale, exhale, one leg goes out long and low. You should be feeling this quite challenging to keep that spine neutral. So do not let that spine lift away from the mat when you're doing the legs out long and low. Then we're getting a little bit of a twist through the body. So just keep doing this nice and slowly. Watch those knees. Don't let them creep up towards your chest unless you've got a pull back and you need to. Otherwise, we're trying to really work those abdominals and those obliques. This is a really hard exercise. Once you've done 2 or 3, you will start to feel it. Use the breath. Fire up that core as needed. Drawing yourself back up to midday. Exhale, leg goes out long and low. Use the breath. Let's do one last go on each side. Shoulders stay relaxed. Last one, over to the right. lovely. Hug those knees in. Let's do a nice full body stretch actually. So arms and legs are going to stretch away. Fabulous. So let's move on to our side lying now. Crikey, where has that time gone? So we're going to do, what are we going to do? I think we're going to do some side kick. So lying on your side, your hips are going to be stacked on top of each other. We use the back edge of the mat to help you line up so that you're nice and straight. That lower arm is going to go out long underneath you. Again, following the line of the mat. If that's difficult with your shoulder, if you've got shoulder issues, then that's hard. You can bring that forwards and then just bend at the elbow so you kind of cradle your head that way. Use the towel between your ear and your shoulder. And we want to have a little gap under that lower waist. So we're active now. We're not just, flopping onto the mat. Stay nice and active. Hips stacked. Feet to the front edge of the mat. Now you can either have this bottom leg bent, it's going to offer you a bit more stability, or you keep it straight. Up to you. Good pull in through the tummy, squeeze through the bottom. We lift that top leg to hip height only. Don't come up here, it's just hip height. Flex that foot so you're lengthening through the heel. Keep that leg nice and long, top arm to support you. And then just bring that leg forward as if you're kicking a ball. Pulse, pulse. Point the foot and swoop it behind you. Now, we're thinking about really firing up that core to keep the spine in neutral as we are moving that leg. Now, you might not have very much range of movement. That's absolutely fine. You should feel a stretch up the hamstrings and the calf. And then as we lengthen behind us, we squeeze through the bottom, stretch across the front of the thigh. So lengthen that leg away. Keep the spine neutral. Think about the gap between the ribs and the hips. So as you bring that leg forward, don't go curling that bottom under. Keep the spine neutral. Pulse, pulse, point and swoop. Pulse, pulse, point and swoop. Don't arch that back. Squeeze through the bottom instead. Don't let the spine do the movement for you. Use the glutes to fire up and draw that leg behind you. Last couple. Perfect. Now, we're just going to do that one exercise. Swap over to the other side. Running out of time. Don't know, got carried away somewhere. So, nice straight line through the body. Use the back edge of the mat to help you line up again. And we've got that option with the arm to have it forwards if you've got problems with the shoulder. Just cradle your head. Otherwise, lengthen it out. Take your time just to get that little active gap under the waist. Good pull in through the tummy. Feet come to the front edge of the mat. And again, you've got a straight leg or a bent leg option for that lower leg. Top leg comes to hip height. Just make sure that you're nice and set up before you start moving. So maybe little movements to start with. Point that foot, draw it behind you. Think about keeping that waist nice and long. We kick, and then we draw it back. So just make sure that that leg is traveling forwards and it is still parallel to the floor, and that your foot is not dropping as you do it. So try to think of the alignment. You might need to have a little sneaky peek as you bring that foot forwards. It's easy for me because I can see myself on the screen. Little sneaky peek, make sure that that leg is parallel to the floor, the foot is not dropping, your knee is pointing forwards. We kick, point and swoop. And we kick, point and swoop. Good pull in through the tummy, straight active through the core. Lengthen that leg away from you as we point and swoop it. Last couple. Excellent. So we're going to move on to our front lying exercise. I think we'll do some swimming. So that's pretty much going to get every bit working in one exercise. Forehead on the towel, just to keep it away from the mat. So you don't want to be squashing your face in the mat. Hands come overhead, palms on the floor, and just make sure that you draw the shoulders down away from your ears. So we keep that nice long neck at the back there. Legs are hip distance apart. Hips are evenly weighted on the mat. So it's a breath in. As you exhale, we engage through the core and lift and lengthen through the crown of the head. So notice that I'm not looking forwards. I'm looking down on the mat. I've got a gentle lift through the body and no pain in my lower back because I'm firing up that core to support it. So staying here now in this lifted position, it is going to be the opposite arm and leg are going to lift and lengthen. But keep the Pilates box stable. So don't let the shoulders, what I see a lot of is moving forwards with that shoulder. It's just lifting the hand up away from the floor. So keep the shoulder girdle nice and down away from your ears. So opposite arm and leg, stay as light as you can on the one that stays on the floor. So you're not pressing down. We're not twisting through the shoulders or the hips. So it's just a little lift up. Imagine you've got some little hooks on your heels and on the back of your hands, and they're just lifting up gently. Inhale, exhale. And exhale to lift. Remember, it's exhale for exertion. Make sure you're not bending at the knee, so lengthen that leg away. This is option one. We can scissor, a little bit more of a scissor action is option two. Oh, that's tough going. You'll want to take a break. Gather yourself, ready to go again. If you're doing that one, I should imagine. Lengthen the legs. Keep the shoulders back. Scissoring or just lifting one at a time. Let's just do another 30 seconds or so. Good. Pull in through the tummy, support that lower back. Keep looking down at the mat. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. Lengthen the limbs. Try not to wobble through the shoulders or the hips. Oh, right, I'm done. Let's come up onto all fours. We're just going to do some cat and some cow. Remember those wrist options if you've got painful wrists. So we're just going to press the mat away from you, arch the spine up towards the ceiling, let the head hang between your arms, and tuck your bottom under, as if you're trying to make a big O shape through the spine. And then we're going to go into our cow. So we drop the belly, we lift the tail, and we keep looking down at the mat as we draw the shoulders away from the ears. And let's go back into our angry cat. And down into cow. We're going to find a neutral spine now and just walk those hands around to one side. So we get a nice stretch up the side of the body. Have a couple of breaths here. And we're going to walk those hands around to the other side. If this causes problems with the knees, you can always put like a cushion underneath your shins as one option, so that you're not placing so much pressure on the knees themselves. Where are we? We're back to the center. We're going to do thread the needle next. So draw the arm across the body, lower the shoulder, bend at the elbow and reach through the gap. Let's come back to the middle. We'll do the same on the other side. So the arm comes across the body, bend the elbow, lower the shoulder, reach through. Back to the center. We open up the knees, keep the toes together, reach the arms overhead, forearms on the mat as you send your tail away from you to lengthen that spine. Coming back onto all fours, we're going to do one last roll up to standing. So we pop those toes under, walk the hands back, straighten up those legs, restack through the vertebrae one at a time. Coming back up, tuck that bottom under. It's a nice breath in as you reach up towards the ceiling. Press those hips forward. A lovely stretch at the front of the body. Releasing off. Give yourselves a clap. Well done. Thank you for joining me. Hope you enjoyed that session. At the same time tomorrow for a mixed ability session for it live. It's really good that you're doing it live because, you know, it gives you that little bit of commitment. Keeps me going, frankly. So, you know, appreciate it. So send me comments, send me feedback, share my links with people. You know, I'm going to give Joe Wicks a run for his money. I've got, I think, I don't know, 20 subscribers. How many's he got? See if we can beat him. Okay, anyway, have a good day. And I'll see you tomorrow morning, hopefully. Bye-bye. Take care. Thank you.